A 60-hour work week just to earn my pay. When Friday rolls around, I'm too tired to play. Boss man really hates me, makes my life a living hell. Half alive or half dead, it's getting hard to tell. Looking for a party, don't know where to start. If you're in need of good times, well bless my broken heart. If you want a life of misery and nagging all the time, and all this sounds appealing, then hell, I'll sell you mine. My truck's an old rust bucket, backfires when it starts. If you pass me on the highway, it would break your heart. A rag for a gas cap, no window in the back. It gets from A to B, but it ain't no Cadillac. Looking for a party, don't know where to start. If you're in need of good times, well bless my broken heart. If you want a life of misery and nagging all the time, and all this sounds appealing, then hell, I'll sell you mine.
Windy out here. I don't think we're gonna get some sound today. Welcome to the lovely beaches of Port Stanley. It's Double L here with cameraman Tony, and we are shooting the very first episode of FTF for the fans. It is Wednesday the 1st today, so what we're looking forward to doing is continually bringing you weekly updates and episodes featuring all different behind-the-scenes interviews and clips of us doing things other than the music, so you can kind of get to know us on a more personal level, and we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun with it. We're down here on the beach at Port Stanley and covered in fish flies right now, so we're about to shoot episode 1, and Tony's laughing at me now, so we're going to cut back to him.
All right, Lawrence, here on our first episode of For the Fans, we got a request that was sent in from somebody in Newfoundland. They want to know, who was your mentor as a singer, and how old were you when you started to sing publicly?
Oh, wow. I like this because the questions aren't rehearsed. My influence growing up was my dad, first and foremost. He grew up, with country music, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, a lot of the old outlaws of country music. That's what I started growing up listening to, and then when I got into the new country sound, it was definitely Garth Brooks that opened up the doors to new country for me. So to all the Garth fans out there, thumbs up. I'm a huge Garth Brooks wannabe, and I probably always will be.
All right, so here, as a little guy then,
yep.
What was your first instrument you started playing? What was the genre of music you liked? Was it always country, or did you like other stuff?
Actually, when I first started playing guitar, it was acoustic guitar that I learned. And the very first song that I played was Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. So it wasn't country right from the start, but I got into that as soon as I got into the Garth Brooks stuff, and that's when I started learning country music on the guitar. So I think I was about 11 years old when I started playing guitar.
And did your dad teach you, or did you take formal lessons? How'd you do it?
Actually, that's a great question. I didn't take any lessons at all. I took basically magazines and learned chord patterns out of there, and I did it to impress my dad, to show him I could learn to play the guitar just like he did. And I wanted to do kitchen parties back home and kind of pull out the guitar and surprise him. So that's how it all got started, about 11 years old.
Another question from the same person in Newfoundland, but they actually asked me if they wanted to know if I was married. I think we've both been kind of down this track ourselves, but no, I'm actually separated now. It's been about a year, and I have actually my girlfriend's on the other side of the camera.
I should get to ask you the questions. That'd be good.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
So the next question came from Hornpain, Ontario. That's back in my hometown, and I haven't seen these folks in quite a while, but they already know quite a bit about me, and they had a question for cameraman Tony. And what they wanted to know was, outside of doing videos, obviously, which is Tony's main passion here, what would be his other passions in life, and what would take priority outside of doing videos. So cameraman Tony, for you, what would be your biggest passion outside of doing videos for your business?
Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know, really. This is what I like to do. Other than that, it's I mean, at one time I used to just like kicking back watching movies, but I don't even watch that anymore. Kind of sitting on the porch. I have no idea what she's saying over there. She's figuring something, but I can't read it from here. Anyway, you know what? My other real passion is I used to drive professionally for 25 years, and I like getting in the car and just going for a drive. I like going out in the country, and just that's what I like. That's kind of a wind down for me. Is get out, drive, you know, see what kind of trouble I can get into out there.
There you go.
That's for me.
Hornpain's a 13-hour drive from here, I think. So if you ever want to take a long drive,
It wouldn't be the first time that I've ventured out on a drive and wound up, you know, 6 or 8 hours away from home. So
in the middle of nowhere.
Hornpain's not within reason. I guess we could probably do that.
There you go. So cameraman Tony,
we got another question here. This one came from a fan of yours in Alberta.
Very cool.
They didn't want their name mentioned on here, so we'll keep that out, but we'll tell them, you know, that they're from Alberta. But they wanted to know, they saw the video that I posted with the recording studio at Paul's.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and they wanted to know what your inspiration was for doing this album. Where did you get all the songs for it, and just how did it all come to be?
Great question. Hello, Alberta. The inspiration for the album has been since I started, really. My main desire was to create a full-out album of all original material. And I dedicated it to my dad because as I said earlier, he was the inspiration for me getting started. And I said if I ever get to the point where I can have an album of my own, it would be in memory or dedication to him. And he passed on a couple of years ago. So this album's all for my dad. The CD's called Mine Was You. The song Mine Was You is written for him. And all 11 tracks on the album are original material that I've been writing a compilation over the last God knows how many years. So it's a 100% double L original album. Pretty proud of that. We're excited.
Right on. You know, I gotta say that the last time we were down here doing that video, little acoustic set down here, was 1 degree that day. You had the t-shirt, I had the big winter coat on. So this is actually a lot nicer.
Warmer,
right?
much warmer.
Except we're in like a sandstorm around here today.
It is like in the dunes, I think, is where we are. Port Stanley sand dunes, yeah. It's pretty nasty.
Okay, now we have another question also that was in. This one came from somebody in Northern Ontario too. But they wanted to know, yeah, it's up. Yeah, that's right. You know your geography. That's good.
That's home, man. That's home for me.
They want to know if you could meet Garth Brooks. You met up with Garth Brooks. Here he is tonight. What would you say to him?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. I got to go see a Garth Brooks concert for the very first time after the Nashville floods. And I was just blown away at how he still has that stage presence and charisma that inspired me to put on the most amazing shows possible with high energy. And wow, what question. I mean, there'd probably be a million questions. And I think that if I actually met him, I'd probably just get tongue-tied and shake his hand and walk away because I wouldn't know what else to say.
He's just a regular guy, dude. He just sings. That's his job.
It's hard. I say I'd never get starstruck, but I guess that's a tough one. Man, well, I don't want to let the fans down north, up north down. So, wow. I think the biggest honor for me would probably just be to
probably just say hi.
Let him know that how much he's impacted me, and then as a question, geez. You know, maybe if he'd write a song with me, I wouldn't mind writing a song together. So I'd ask him, you know, would you be willing to write a song with Double L, up and coming country music? You know, want to be hopeful. That's a tough question to answer. I guess it would be to be put on the spot and find out. So Garth, if you're watching, I'm looking forward to being put on the spot. If I get to meet you down the road, it is something sandy out here right now.
It's awful, isn't it? It's like blizzard of sand.
Chewing on it. Chewing on it.
Between the fish flies and sand.
That's a meal right there up in Port Stanley. We eat sand and fish flies.
Awful. That's reality TV at its best right there, right?
This is real
right,
time.
Lawrence, here's a real kicker. We got another question. This one is from the UK. Because I do understand you have some fans overseas.
We do.
They want to know, what could they expect if they were to come to a Double L show?
Oh, wow. Well, hopefully if they make it from the UK, which is very, very soon, or we can make it to you, the thing we pride ourselves most on is the high energy of our show. And for the folks that sent this question, and I think you've seen the show when we were down in Port Dover, we really take a lot of pride in the high energy of the show. 3 sets usually is what we do, and there'll be some covers in there, some Double L originals, of course, and just a lot of running around, stage antics. And again, I kind of modeled my show after Garth Brooks, and basically it's the interaction with the fans. I like to get right out there and in your face, have you sing along with me, and have as much fun as I'm having, because it comes back to that kitchen party feel that I always go for. So that's what they could expect, is just high energy, good time, and be ready to sing along and be part of the show.
So basically what your show then is, no matter how big of a venue it will be, it's still more of an intimate kitchen party, like you say.
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly it. We want to try and turn a 30,000 person stadium into a small kitchen and have everyone feel part of that party.
One of the fans, just local here from St. Thomas.
Okay.
It's been to a lot of your shows, but they kind of sent me a private message on Facebook, and they just wanted to know what you're like as a kid. So can we keep it clean, or how dirty is this going to get?
Oh, this is a good question. Wow. I've been told, and I don't remember this very well, but as a young child, I was led by my uncles, who were fairly young teenagers, and they taught me a lot of words I probably shouldn't have known as a kid. I ran the streets of Hornpain like a little gangster at 2 or 3 years old, flipping people the bird and doing a lot of cursing and swearing. I wasn't a role model of society for sure, but as I got into school, I think I cleaned up my act a little bit, and after my parents getting a few phone calls, and I think I became more of a role model student as I started to learn that there's a difference between using the English language for good or bad, and I did a lot of damage as a kid. I wasn't up until probably about 5 or 6 years old. I was a little bit of a terror. After that, I cleaned it up.
But now I know something about you that a lot of them don't. Some of your fans do know, because I've seen some of the video. But you used to box.
Oh, I did. Yes.
And you actually won awards.
I did. I think that's probably part of the reason I cleaned up my act as a kid. There wasn't a whole lot to do back in Hornpain, my hometown, and when I was 7 years old, there was a fella who moved in for the railway, Ben Timperley. He came into town and started up a boxing club, and I did it for something to do, because there wasn't a whole lot else going on, and I really enjoyed the competitiveness of it and the discipline that came with it. I learned a lot from boxing, and it really kept me out of trouble, because there was a lot of things that most kids deal with out there, peer pressure, influence on alcohol and drugs. There was a lot of that going on, and I stayed clear of it all because of the boxing. I tried to stay fit and healthy, eat right, stay away from the drug and alcohol, and it kept me on a good path. So being as dedicated as I was to boxing, it led to kind of stick to something long enough you can get good at it. And I didn't like punching people. People think that I enjoyed boxing for that reason. I didn't like getting punched. I wasn't sadistic. It was all about the challenge, like a chess game, and learning to make moves, and it was just a strategy game for me. And we went through to win a bronze medal for Team Canada at the Gaelic Games in Ireland, which was a highlight in my career. So, yeah. That comes to the end of the questions for the episode 1.
I'm going to go back behind the camera there, because that's sand. I'll let you carry on.
I get to stay out here and eat sand while Tony gets back behind the camera, but hopefully we've answered all the questions. For everyone who had sent in to the website, remember that we've moved the Facebook fan page over. We've kept Double L Fans Forever open, but we're trying to run off of Double L Music now on Facebook. So make sure that you join us on there, and if you do have further questions that you want to know about the behind-the-scenes stuff, learn a little more about cameraman Tony, and about Double L that we didn't answer for you today, feel free to send us those questions, and at the end of every episode on Wednesdays, we'll try to answer those for you with maybe a 1 or 2 question segment at the end. Now, we're going to get set to film episode 2 for you, and you can look forward to some high-energy excitement in episode 2, because we're going to be going to see more behind the scenes of Tony and Double L out in the world of Port Stanley and everywhere that we're going to venture from this point on. We're going to have to get in out of the sand, and I hope next week's shoot's going to be inside, because I don't know how much more of this sand I can get in my underwear. Probably going to clog up the machine. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Stay tuned, because you don't want to miss out on what we got planned for you next Wednesday.
Hold up close. On next week's show, Double L takes us to his gym and shows us how he stays in shape. I wonder if Lawrence will throw a point or two across my way.